Every coin has two sides, but every year tells a story. From the echoes of 1988, when America's quarters carried a classic eagle and a legacy of George Washington, to the turn of the millennium in 2000, when a new generation of state quarters began, capturing the pride, the power, and the people of every state. Then came 2001, a year that changed the world, yet kept the spirit of unity alive, carved into silver, shining in our hands. And in 2002, 5 more states joined the legend, each coin a miniature monument to courage, culture, and freedom. Musical note, music rises. Emotional tone, light drum beat joins. These aren't just quarters, they're time capsules. They carry art, history, and the heartbeat of a nation, coins that pass through millions of hands. Yet each one still whispers its own story. So today, let's travel back in time and uncover the hidden legacy behind the 1988 to 2002 years before new designs and modern minting. There was a coin that carried the simple, timeless face of American history, the 1988 U.S. quarter dollar. It's a coin that might look ordinary to the untrained eye, but for true collectors, it represents the final breath of a generation. The last few classic years before the U.S. Mint entered its new age of creativity. The 1988 quarter features the iconic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, the same image that had graced American quarters since 1932. On the obverse, you'll find Washington's proud profile facing left, with the word liberty above and the motto, "In God We Trust," to the left. Beneath his neck, the date, 1988. A design so simple, yet so powerful. Flip it over, and the reverse displays the majestic American bald eagle, wings spread wide, clutching arrows in his talons, a symbol of strength, readiness, and peace through power. Above it, the words United States of America, and the classic phrase E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. It's this design, clean, bold, and patriotic, that defined America's 20th century coins. The 1988 quarters were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint P produced over 562 million coins. The Denver Mint D struck around 596 million coins. And the San Francisco Mint S created limited proof coins, specially polished for collectors, shiny, mirror-like, and rare. Most 1988 quarters were made from copper nickel clad, weighing 5.67 grams with a 24.3 millimeters diameter, the standard specs that define all modern quarters. But what makes the 1988 quarter truly special is its place in time. It stands as one of the last few pre-statehood quarters before the massive 50-state quarters program began in 1999. In a way, 1988 is like a silent bridge between two eras, the end of tradition and the beginning of innovation. There's also a hunt for rare minting errors from 1988, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or missing mint marks. These small imperfections can turn an ordinary 25-cent coin into a collector's treasure worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. One of the most sought after is the 1988 P double die obverse, where the letters in Liberty or I in God We Trust appear slightly doubled, a minting mistake that sharp-eyed collectors dream of finding. For most people, the 1988 quarter is just a coin, something they might spend without a second thought. But for coin lovers, it's a symbol of a closing chapter, a reminder of America's classic coinage before the designs changed forever, the coin that survived decades of hands, pockets, and cash registers, yet still holds its luster and legacy. So, next time you find a 1988 quarter, don't just see 25 cents. See the story of a nation, the pride of a mint, and the face of a leader whose vision shaped America. Because sometimes the most ordinary coin carries the most extraordinary history. The year 2000, a milestone not just for technology and time, but also for the coins that told America's story. As the world stepped into a new millennium, the U.S. Mint continued its most successful coin program ever, the 50-state quarter series. Each quarter released in this year carried the same front, The classic face of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, a symbol of leadership and legacy. But the reverse? That's where the real magic lived. Oh, 5 new designs, 5 stories, each celebrating the soul of a different American state. In 2000, 5 remarkable state quarters were released: Massachusetts, Maryland, South Carolina, New Hampshire, and Virginia. Each coin reflected pride, history, and the spirit that built the nation. The first coin, Massachusetts, features the Minuteman, a symbol of the American Revolution, a man ready to fight for freedom at a moment's notice. Around him, the outline of the state and the words, the Bay State. This design honors the courage that gave birth to a new nation. Next came the Maryland Quarter, showcasing the State House dome, surrounded by branches of white oak, the state's official tree, a coin that radiates grace, stability, and government, fitting for the home of America's oldest state capital still in use. Then, the South Carolina Quarter, a design rich in symbols: the palmetto tree, the Carolina wren, and the yellow jessamine. Each element represents strength, beauty, and nature. Together, they tell the story of a land that stood tall through every storm. The New Hampshire Quarter shows something truly unique: the Old Man of the Mountain, a natural granite formation that looked like a human face, standing tall for centuries before collapsing in 2003. This coin, released in 2000, now holds that image forever, preserving the face of a legend that time erased. And finally, the Virginia Quarter, commemorating the 400th anniversary of Jamestown, 1607 to 2007, the first permanent English settlement in North America. The design shows 3 ships, the Susan Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery, sailing bravely toward the New World, a powerful image of exploration and the beginning of America's store. Each of these coins was struck at both Philadelphia, P, and Denver, D mints. Over 6.6 billion quarters were produced that year. Yet collectors still hunt for coins in perfect uncirculated condition, or those with rare minting errors like double dies and off-center strikes. The proof versions, minted in San Francisco S, were made with brilliant mirrored surfaces and sharp details. Tiny pieces of art sealed forever in collectors' hearts. Weighing 5.67 grams, made of copper nickel clad, and measuring 24.26 millimeters in diameter. These coins weren't just money. They were history, unity, and pride pressed into metal. The 2000 quarters symbolize a moment in time when America celebrated not just its future, but every piece of its past. Each coin told a different story, yet all shared the same message: that every state, every person, every story matters in the great design of a nation. 2 decades later, these quarters still shine, not just in silver, but in memory. They mark the beginning of a millennium and the continuation of a legacy that started with freedom itself. So, next time you find a year 2000 quarter in your pocket, look closely. You might be holding more than 25 cents. You might be holding a piece of American spirit, courage, and history that changed the world. Because every coin has a story, and this one tells the story of a new millennium. The year 2001, a year that carried both pride and pain, hope and heritage. For the United States, it was a time of reflection, unity, and remembrance. And through it all, the U.S. Mint continued its powerful tribute, the 50 State Quarters program, honoring the identity and history of every state, one coin at a time. The year 2001 introduced 5 remarkable designs, each one celebrating the story of a state that helped shape America. New York, North Carolina, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Kentucky. The first coin of 2001, New York. On its reverse, Lady Liberty proudly stands. The Statue of Liberty, holding her torch high, with an engraved outline of the state and 11 stars, representing New York as the 11th state to join the Union. The words, "Gateway to Freedom," shine boldly, a reminder that for millions of immigrants, New York was the first glimpse of hope, the beginning of a new life in America. Next came the North Carolina Quarter, celebrating the state's greatest historical moment, the first flight at Kitty Hawk. The design shows the Wright brothers' aircraft soaring through the air, with the words "First Flight" inscribed proudly below. It's not just a coin, it's the birth of aviation, a symbol of how human courage can conquer the skies. The Rhode Island quarter tells another kind of story, one of freedom on the open sea. The coin shows a vintage sailboat gliding past the Claiborne Pell Bridge, with the waves of Narragansett Bay sparkling beneath. It celebrates the state's maritime legacy and the spirit of exploration that has always defined Rhode Island. The Vermont quarter captures the calm beauty of New England. Its design shows a man collecting sap from maple trees, framed by the majestic green mountains. This coin is simple yet deep. It honors hard work, nature, and the quiet pride of rural America. And finally, the Kentucky quarter, a tribute to heritage and independence. The coin depicts Federal Hill, the historic mansion that inspired the state song "My Old Kentucky Home." In the foreground, a majestic thoroughbred horse stands before a fence, a perfect symbol of Kentucky's racing tradition and Southern grace. All 2001 quarters were minted at Philadelphia, P, and Denver, D, while the San Francisco Mint, S, produced limited proof sets with mirror finishes and sharp detailing for collectors. Each coin weighs 5.67 grams, made from copper nickel clad, and measures 24.26 millimeters across. But the real value lies far beyond the metal. Some 2001 quarters with minting errors, like double strikes or off-center impressions, have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, proof that even small imperfections can create big history. Today, these coins remind us of an era when collecting became personal again, when people of all ages searched their change, hoping to find every design, every state, every story. The 2001 quarters aren't just pieces of metal. They're small, shining portraits of the American dream. Each one reflects bravery, beauty, and pride, minted forever into history. So if you ever come across a 2001 quarter, take a moment before you spend it. Look at the design, the details, the message. You're not holding just a coin. You're holding a story from America's heart. The year 2002, the third full year of the legendary 50 State Quarters program. By now, millions of Americans were not just spending coins. They were collecting history. Every new quarter told a story. And in 2002, 5 states took the stage: Tennessee, Ohio, Louisiana, Indiana, and Mississippi. Musical note: music shifts, soft patriotic rhythm. The first coin of 2002 celebrated Tennessee, the volunteer state. Its design is a masterpiece of music and pride. A trumpet, guitar, and fiddle rest together inside a circle of stars, symbolizing Tennessee's contribution to country, blues, and rock and roll. Above them, a banner reads "Musical Heritage." This coin sings the soul of the South, a state where rhythm, art, and heart meet as one. Musical note: background tone deepens, historic. Next came the Ohio quarter, honoring the state's legendary role in aviation and space exploration. The design shows an astronaut floating beside the Wright Flyer, connecting the first flight in 1903 to mankind's journey into the stars. The words "birthplace of aviation pioneers" tell the truth, because from the Wright brothers to Neil Armstrong, Ohio gave humanity wings. The Louisiana quarter follows, rich in history and culture. Its design celebrates the Louisiana Purchase of 1803, with a map showing the territory that doubled America's size. To its right stands a trumpet with musical notes, symbolizing the birth of jazz in New Orleans. Below it, a pelican, the state bird, completes the picture, representing warmth, community, and the heart of the Deep South. Musical note: music lightens, adventurous tone. The Indiana quarter pays tribute to innovation and independence. At its center is the Indy race car, surrounded by 19 stars, marking Indiana as the 19th state to join the Union. The coin also shows the state's outline and the words "Crossroads America." It's a symbol of motion, ambition, and a forward spirit, proof that speed and determination run deep in Indiana's veins. And finally, the Mississippi quarter, one of the most elegant designs in the entire series. It features two magnolia blossoms, the state flower in full bloom. Simple, graceful, and beautiful. This coin captures the soul of the magnolia state, a place of natural charm and quiet strength. Musical note, soft reflective tone, emotional buildup. All 2002 quarters were minted at Philadelphia, P, and Denver, D, while San Francisco, S, produced limited proof editions, highly polished and sought after by collectors. Each coin weighs 5.67 grams, made of copper-nickel clad, and measures 24.26 millimeters. Yet within that small circle of metal lives the spirit of 5 great states. Rare minting errors, like double die strikes, off-center prints, or missing clad layers, can make these quarters worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars today. Musical note, music becomes emotional and proud. But beyond their value in dollars, the 2002 quarters hold something greater: identity. They remind Americans where they came from, what they built, and what unites them. Tennessee's music, Ohio's skies, Louisiana's culture, Indiana's drive, Mississippi's beauty. 5 different stories, yet one flag, one nation, one coin series. Musical note, music swells, cinematic outro. So, if you ever find a 2002 quarter in your change, pause for a moment and look closer. You're not holding just a piece of metal. You're holding a piece of American history, a story pressed into silver, and a reminder that every coin has a heartbeat, because every coin has a story. And this one sings of unity, pride, and progress. Musical note, outro music fades in warm ending. Thanks for watching Coin Empire. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more rare coin stories and hidden treasures from U.S. history.